SportsCenter all night. The Chiefs and the Giants face off on Monday Night Football at Arrowhead. Who came out with the win?
Chiefs on the 12th. Jones is hit. Down he goes. Down he goes, and now he flips it off to a lineman who goes down. The Chiefs will get a hold here.
Surprising results weren't the only takeaways from Week 8 in the NFL, as injuries unfortunately made their presence felt again.
This is the biggest loss you can have. It takes them from being in the 1 or 2, best team in the AFC. They ain't going anywhere without this guy.
And with the Braves unable to close out the Astros in 5, the World Series now shifts back to H-Town for a pivotal Game 6.
The biggest thing is how much Max Fried can go and be as good as we saw him, especially the back half of the regular season.
This is SportsCenter all night.
We have one seat. You denounce all your hate for the Cowboys right here, right now. You offer a love, you get down on one knee, and you ask Cowboy Nation to marry you.
Here's Jay Reynolds.
Never a dull moment with Michael Irvin, whether it's with Stephen A. or whether it's with the Manning brothers on the Manning cast for Monday Night Football. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80.
It's unfamiliar territory for Patrick Mahomes right now. This is a team that only scored 3 points last week against the Titans.
I think the biggest problem is, without question, their defense.
Highly anticipated matchup to finish out Week 8. Granted, it wasn't the same anticipation that we had for the Packers-Cardinals matchup that started Week 8 last Thursday. The Chiefs-Giants anticipation was more akin to the rubbernecking we do on the road when we see that accident on the other side of the divider and want to try and just figure out what's wrong. Such has been the case with the Chiefs, who struggled through the first 7 weeks of the season. They struggled in the first half Monday night as well, although they did lead the Giants 14-10 at the break. But New York takes the lead in the first few seconds of the fourth quarter.
Jones calls the signals. He takes the snap. He's back. He looks right. He throws right. Caught for the touchdown, Evan Ingram.
That caps an 8-play drive to give the Giants the lead. Bob Papa, WFAN. The Chiefs would tie the game at 17 midway through the fourth on a 36-yard field goal. Giants punt on their next possession, and the Chiefs answer with more points.
34-yard attempt at 1:12 to go. The kick by Butker is up, and the kick is inside the far upright and good. The Chiefs have a 20-17 lead at 1:07 to go in the game.
Giants get the ball back with just over a minute remaining in the fourth quarter, and the offense does zilch.
4th down and 15 to the Chiefs have it. 35 seconds to go in the game. 20-17 Chiefs. Daniel Jones with Devontae Booker. On 4th down, they had a touchdown. Chiefs from the 12th. Jones is hit. Down he goes. Down he goes, and now he flips it off to a lineman who goes down. The Chiefs will get a hold here. Daniel Jones back-to-back sacks. And how about Frank Clark and Chris Jones on back-to-back sacks to win the game?
106.5, the Wolf Chiefs, a 20-17 win over the Giants. 4th straight game for Kansas City with multiple turnovers, tied for the longest streak in the NFL this season, their longest since 2012, the longest under Andy Reid as well. But the Chiefs get the win. 9 straight victories against the NFC dating back to 2019 against the Vikings. Patrick Mahomes, 29 of 48 for 275 yards, passing a touchdown and an interception. He leads the NFL with 10 picks. Our Lisa Salters caught up with him after the win.
You just want to be executed at a higher level. I thought our defense did a hell of a job all game long of stepping up and making a lot of big-time stops. But offensively, we're getting a lot of yards, doing a lot of things, but we got to keep executing, keep getting better at that.
You told us that what you wanted to work on was actually going through your reads better, not anticipating where the ball was going to go. How do you think you did with that tonight?
I thought I did a good job. They played a lot of deep zones, played some man coverage here and there, and the guys battled. I mean, I thought the O-line did a great job kind of keeping me clean in the pocket, and I did a better job than I did, obviously, last week.
Andy Reid told me at halftime he thought the offense was up and down. How did it feel to you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the microcosm of the whole whole entire year. I mean, we have great moments and we have bad moments. So, I mean, if we want to be who we want to be, we got to get better, execute better for a full game.
But again, a win is a win. So how do you build on this? You're now 500. How do you build on this and move forward to be the team you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a challenge this next week. We're playing the Packers. They're coming here. They got a great football team, so we're going to have to go back in there, practice on a short week, and really figure out what we got to do to be better, to play better next week against a great football team.
Chiefs get the win behind Patrick Mahomes, but they did have the 2 turnovers on Monday and a dozen penalties for 103 yards. ESPN Monday Night Football analysts Louis Riddick and Brian Greasy.
There's no question they're turning the football over, and there are questionable decisions that are being made. But it's not all on Patrick Mahomes. Tonight, Travis Kelce did not play a good game. They ran the ball better tonight than they have recently, better than they did last week, obviously, against Tennessee. It didn't look pretty. I think we are so accustomed to seeing unbelievably explosive plays from Kansas City, and that's not who they are right now. You have to take what the defense gives you. Credit Patrick Graham and the Giants defensively for forcing them to play left-handed. Okay, and Patrick Mahomes, you can see it. He gets frustrated on that last drive. You want to go down and win the game. You're a quarterback in the National Football League, so you force it. And that should have been the end of the game, that interception. But clearly, the penalties are hurting them. It's the same story, the turnovers, and Andy Reid's got to get it fixed.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't know how much Andy can actually get it fixed, quite honestly, because coaches don't coach ball insecurity. Coaches don't coach penalties.
Right.
So that's on the players at this point in time. They have to start taking ownership on that and really getting that corrected. Okay? Secure the football when you're at the point of contact. When you need to play disciplined football and not commit penalties, then make sure you just don't. Just dial in. Just lock in. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's something that they're going to have to do. As far as the way that they're moving the football down the field, Scott, it's going to remain that way. It's going to remain that way because it's a copycat league. We know what defensive coordinators do. They're going to sit back with their safeties 17, 18 yards deep and say, Patrick, guess what? We saw what Patrick Graham did. We saw what Brandon Staley did. We see what every team is doing to you. We're going to do the same thing. And Andy's going to have to dial up some more 2 deep high cover 2 beaters. How can they attack the middle of the field a little bit more? Tonight they attacked the perimeter, short underneath throws. How can you attack the little middle of the field a little bit more? Continue to run the football. If they continue to run the football successfully, you'll start dropping safeties down. You'll get one-on-ones. But this is how it's going to look for a little while, minus the turnovers and penalties. That can change immediately, but that's on the players.
There's a certain benefit of the doubt that I think great teams in all sports earn. And I feel like, to a degree, Louis, the Chiefs in these 8 games have kind of spent that. In other words, this is who you are. And now, as you guys laid out on the broadcast, this schedule is a monster coming up. So for them to be who they wish to be, as Patrick was talking about, like, what reasonably can they hope to do over the next 4 games to try to become what we're used to seeing?
Stop turning the ball over and stop giving other teams hidden yardage. Because against quality football teams, and that's not to be disrespectful to the Giants, but they were very much so shorthanded tonight. Many of their best players, they left back in New Jersey. Against good football teams, it's going to get ugly for this football team, or they're just going to wind up losing tight football games and not winning one like they did tonight.
They're not balanced, Scotty. You know, and everybody that wants to say, well, Andy Reid, 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl, they ran the ball 35% of the time. Last year they ran it 32% of the time, got to the Super Bowl. Now they're at 29%. But this is a different team, and defenses are playing them different, so they have to run the ball more. Derek Gore had almost 50 yards, 60 yards in the first half, and didn't have anything in the second half. That balance, the imbalance, leads to more turnovers because Patrick Mahomes is trying to throw the ball into loaded zones, and it's very tough.
Chiefs now move on to the gauntlet portion of their schedule, which starts with the Packers coming to Kansas City in Week 9. SportsCenter all night.